Okay. Home run. Baseball is boring, dude. I can't watch baseball. In person, I can. A home run derby in person would be cool. But on TV, I don't know. I used to play the home run derby on Wii and PlayStation Move and Xbox Connect. Yeah. All right. So I want to do this breaking points, Krystal Ball, and Saagar debate today. Oh, there's an ice tracking app. I heard about that. Let me see. I'm kind of interested in this a little bit. They debated alligator Alcatraz, and I want to hear some. I want to hear some of the points on it. Wait, let me fix this real quick. Okay. That's fine, dude. Nice, dude.
Some really
Beautiful.
interesting polling.
Idiocracy, true. I saw Krystal Ball and Saagar debated alligator Alcatraz, and I have not heard a debate between the left and the right on this yet.
Just came out from Gallup. And I would say at this point, I would call this poll an outlier, although it is consistent with a trend in terms of public sentiment around immigration that we have seen reflected in other polls as well. So let's go ahead and put this up on the screen. According to Gallup, we now have a huge surge in the number of people who say, hey, actually, I don't want immigration decreased. I want it to stay the same. A significant surge also in those who say actually want it increased, and a major decline in those who say they want it decreased. So now the plurality of people say, hey, let's just keep things status quo at the present level. But even more significant, we actually have a record-breaking number of people who say that immigration is a good thing for this country today. So it has spiked up to now 79% of the public who say overall they think immigration is a good thing for the country. It's worth noting this number has always actually been above water. The lowest was near 50%. That was in the year 2002. It was at 52%. But even as recently as 2024, when you had sort of like a nadir in support for immigration in this country, it was still at 64%. But you've got a huge increase there to a record-breaking number of 79% who are like, you know what? On net, I think immigrants are really a benefit to this country. They pulled a bunch of other, you've got significant, obviously, partisan divides with regards to immigration, but they pulled a number of other questions, and the shifts are all in the same direction, shifting towards more tolerance and support for immigration, less tolerance and support for example, hiring significantly more Border Patrol agents. Those numbers declined by 17%. And it's not a mystery to understand, Saagar, why this is going on. People are seeing the reality of the Trump administration's immigration policy. They're seeing these raids, including ICE agents in like military gear and, marching down suburban streets or riding on horseback through a park. They're seeing alligator Alcatraz. They're seeing CCOT, the lack of due process. They're seeing the distance between the rhetoric of, hey, we're going to be targeting the criminals, to the reality of, no, actually, we're going to be going to the Home Depot, going to the 7-Eleven, et cetera. And it has caused a significant, I think you can say at this point, backlash to the Trump administration's direction.
Yeah, I mean, I warned about this in the beginning of the Trump administration, the laws of thermostatic public opinion. There's probably no better issue than immigration. Whenever Trump is in office the first time around, record support for immigration. When Biden's in office, record low support for immigration. Now we're right back to where it is. The question is about solving a consensus. And to the extent that I think that the Trump administration can be criticized the most, it is for shows of force compared to any sort of semblance of process and of stability. I talked about this during LA. The reason people turned against the Biden administration was the reality of 8 to 10 million people who flowed illegally into our country in an insane process. It was chaotic. And so the promise was we're going to solve the chaos. And on the border, it's empirically true. They have. I mean, their border crossings are basically zero right now. And so in a way, they're almost benefiting from the success of the problem that they were truly elected to solve immediately on border. Then it's become a question of enforcement and or deportation. So it's one thing to have deportation or increase in the ICE budget of
you need to come in the country legally, like my wife did. Legally, like my wife. I've been talking to Trump voters on my stream like every day, and they all assume every single black or brown person is an illegal immigrant. They believe every single person they see who makes them uncomfortable is an illegal immigrant. They call anyone illegal immigrants. They call them all gang members. They call them all animals. That's why they say it's okay to put all of them in alligator Alcatraz, because they shut off the parts of their brain that look at immigrants as human beings. If you can write off everyone as a disgusting animal who snuck into America illegally and wants to harm Americans, you can fall to neo-Nazi propaganda very easily. Neo-Nazi propaganda like Charlie Kirk, like Stephen Miller. All these people push these racist lies because you guys fall for them over and over and over again. Oh, America would be so perfect with no immigrants. We'd have free health care. We'd have an abundance of food for everyone. We'd have housing. By the way, we can currently have those things. Immigrants help us have those things. In fact, immigrants are very productive, are amazing members of our communities. But the wealthy are the issue. The ultra-rich are the issue. But they want you to hate immigrants, so we never come together and fight the real enemy. And that's the big issue here, is you'll just take it. No matter what you see, no matter what you think, you're going to believe their narrative. You're going to believe the government's narrative uncritically because you want to believe immigrants are bad. You want to blame someone for your problems, and you're too weak and pathetic to blame the real issue. So you'll always blame immigrants. You're going to always blame your neighbors. You're going to be pissed off at that person buying Doritos down the street with, they're using benefits to buy a snack, versus the wealthy that have $50 million weddings, multi-million-dollar yachts. They get tax cuts to dump oil and cancerous chemicals in our water. You're going to always fight the easy battle because you're pathetic and weak. That was for TikTok. Okay, who's going to call in?
Going after criminals, increasing investigation. It's another to send, active duty U.S. Marines to the streets of Los Angeles. So it's one thing to have deportation or increase in the ICE budget of going after criminals, increasing investigation. It's another to send, active duty U.S. Marines to the streets of Los Angeles. It's another to have alligator Alcatraz. And then even on the question of Alcatraz, it's like one of those questions of specifically to emphasize like the alligators there and the vibe of it. I understand tactically why they're doing it, which is the truth, is that no matter how much money you spend, deporting 20 to 30 million people is would cost hundreds of billions of dollars. A lot of it is about self-deportation. They have succeeded. Over 1 million people self-deported in the last 6 months, at least rough estimate from the government figures. I'm not sure if we can try.
But we're losing very productive workers, good neighbors. We're losing scientists. Like, we're losing laborers that want to be in America, want to work hard. We're losing every single type of immigrant you want in America because we're brutalizing immigrants. We're brutalizing students. We're doing the wrong thing. The self-deportations are a self-own.
That per se, but what we're watching is the thermostatic public opinion in effect. So I guess at this point, here's my advice to Democrats. Don't overread what these things actually mean. Last time around, they're like, see, the public is with us, and that means we shouldn't enforce border laws at all. 8 to 10 million people is good. We need to decriminalize border crossing.
Democrats did enforce border laws. Trump is doing illegal things to block the border right now, but Democrats did follow the asylum laws as much as they possibly could.
Free healthcare for illegals and all of this. You guys have your moment at this point,
yes,
and you need to kind of settle on like what the status quo going forward should look like. And I think ultimately the failure of the last multiple administrations on immigration is either punting things for amnesty while not having enforcement, basically allowing rage to bubble up around the issue. I think the Trump administration, unfortunately,
the rage is 100% white nationalism. It's white nationalism. There's no place in America where crime went up because of immigration. There's a reason they need to talk about the same 5 stories over and over again. There's a reason they want to politicize the death of poor Laken Riley for their political games. And they cannot point to actual crime data because immigrants have a lower crime rate than naturally born American citizens. And they want to make everyone hate immigrants. Stephen Miller is an open neo-Nazi. Steve Bannon is an open neo-Nazi. Tom Homan is an open neo-Nazi. They are proudly, they have said things along these lines. They proudly reinforce it. Trump even said that about Stephen Miller. He said about how Stephen Miller wants to live in a country with only people that look like him.
Has just decided, for these big headline grabbing things, as opposed to actually trying to come to sort of consensus, around this. And so it is now a live ball, an issue also which they've ceded so much ground on. Not just with CCOT, but by turning it also into an Israel issue, which actually makes it, in my opinion, much worse for them.
Yeah.
Because it makes it seem capricious to the ends of their own individual priorities and not about America. Because it's not just about the illegals here. We're talking about the Mahmoud Khalil case. We're talking about the Ozturk case. We're also talking about foreigners being detained for having memes on their phones when entering the United States under tourism visa. That the totality of that comes down to like, oh, hold on a second. We asked for law. I mean, if you look at the rhetoric, it was law and order. And I think that what we've had right now, it just strays far away from that to the public, and specifically the independent mind. It makes it very, very difficult. So I actually think this is a Democratic issue now where you guys need to solve it for yourselves. And I'm curious to see what ground, that they end up with for what What does the next Democratic candidate actually say on the issue of immigration? Can't be Kamala. Definitely can't be 2019. It can't be 2024 either. It's got to be something authentic and kind of interesting to this moment. But anyway.
Yeah, I think that's well said. And the Israel part is interesting to me because I was thinking the same thing. And it's not just that it makes it seem like very clear this is just like an ideological tool being used against, you know, people the administration doesn't like or their ideological enemies. It also made it feel very personal.
It is personal, you know, quite literally.
Yeah, because it was like, oh, you can't even write a freaking op-ed about this and you're being kidnapped off the streets? That's insane. And so when you had that combined at the very same time with these guys, many of whom were completely innocent.
Wait a second.
Hang up, say, well, that was a nice I speak to him a lot about getting this thing done. And I always hang up, say, well, that was a nice phone call. And then missiles are launched into Kiev or some other city. And I said, it's strange.
This is about Vladimir Putin. Trump, okay, so when Zelensky went to the Oval Office and J.D. Vance and Trump screamed at him, Zelensky was telling Trump, you cannot trust Putin. You cannot trust him. And they broke down and had little baby fits. These little cucks had baby cry sessions. And said, did you even say thank you? When they said that shit to Zelensky, Zelensky was telling Trump, you cannot trust Putin. And Trump's like, but Putin loves me. Putin thinks I'm his Pookie bear. Putin is my Pookie.
And after that happens,
I can trust Putin
3 or 4 times, you say, the talk doesn't mean anything.
Oh, the talk doesn't mean anything. Anyone who knows any time period of history between Russia and any other country around its borders knows Russia lies. Russia betrays every single ceasefire, every treaty. Russia is a terrorist state. They are a terrorist state, okay? They will keep on doing this no matter what until they are stopped. And the fact Trump believes Putin's language because Putin talked, like what? Did Putin seduce Trump on the phone?
My conversations with him are always very pleasant. I say,
oh, no, he did seduce Trump on the phone.
Very lovely conversation.
Oh, he did.
And then the missiles go off that night.
Trump's having phone sex with Putin, bro. Why is Trump having phone sex with Putin?
I go home, I tell the
Trump is
first
shocked.
lady, and I spoke with Vladimir today. We had a wonderful conversation.
So when Trump gets post-nut clarity, he's like, holy shit. Vladimir, my Pookie, you bombed Kiev again. Putin, my Pookie.
She said, oh, really?
How did you do this?
Another
what happened
city
to
was
you?
just hit. So it's like, look, he's, I don't want to say he's an assassin, but he's a tough guy. It's been proven over the years. He's fooled a lot of people. He fooled Bush. He fooled a lot of people. He fooled.
Remember when Trump said this? When Trump said, I am not happy with the Russian strikes on Kiev. Not necessary. Very bad timing. Vladimir, stop. Bro, Vladimir, stop. Vladimir, stop. Very tough on Putin. Very tough on everyone, bro. That's my president. Very strong.
Bush, Obama, Biden, he didn't fool me. But I speak to.
Remember when everyone said no one's going to mess with America anymore because Trump is so tough and big masculine energied? And now Trump is like, apparently when they said the whole world's going to be afraid of Trump because he's so crazy. I guess this is what they meant. Vladimir, stop. Please, Vladimir, what happened to you? We were Pookie. We dated. We made love on the phone, Putin. I can't believe you're doing that. What an idiot, bro. Putin, I don't know what you're doing. This isn't you. This is not you, Putin. This is not you. Bro. Classic Bill O'Reilly talking about Trump and Epstein, all right? He messes up when Epstein died, when Trump was president.
The Biden administration had exactly the same thing the Trump administration has on Epstein. Exactly. Right. Because Epstein was convicted during the Biden administration. Not one time did
Epstein died 2 years before Biden took office.
Hakeem Jeffrey call for any exposition of what the Biden Justice Department knew. Not once. So this guy's a top phony, okay? He's a political player. He doesn't care about the truth. He doesn't care about the people.
Hold on, Bill.
This is what
hold on.
he does.
Hold on, Bill. Hold on. You said Epstein was
Wait, why does this guy talk with Trump mannerisms? Why is his face orange?
convicted during the
Bro, do they all do this? Do they all mimic Trump directly?
Biden administration. Epstein committed suicide during the Trump administration.
His voice sounds like Trump too.
The Biden administration.
Yeah, so? Yeah, so? Yeah, Epstein was best friends with Donald Trump. All right, Donald Trump was best friends with Epstein's lawyer, right? And then Epstein died under Trump's administration. And now today it came out that that tape of the Epstein jail cell or whatever, the prison, that tape, that video they released was missing 2 minutes and 53 seconds. It was altered. And 2 minutes and 53 seconds were lost. Did Donald Trump, when he was president, get a hit on Jeffrey Epstein and then hide the tape? Oh, man. So?
Me, Omar, why aren't you doing more videos? As a state senator with a second full-time job and a kid on the way, I just haven't been able to find the time. I've also been fighting for you, passing...
Okay. This is the guy Charlie Kirk said is going to destroy Western civilization because he is, by the way, an American citizen. He's an American citizen. Charlie Kirk said, these foreigners, legal and illegal, are going to destroy America. Listen to this guy. Obviously jihadist.
Everyone keeps asking me, Omar, why aren't you doing more videos? As a state senator with a second full-time job and a kid on the way, I just...
Wait a second. He sounds like any person between the ages of 20 and 35 in America. Why does Charlie Kirk... What about this person makes Charlie Kirk think he's going to destroy so-called Western civilization? I wonder what. I wonder what's happening.
I've also been fighting for you, passing things like...
He's going to say something crazy. Tuition-free college. That's what the that's what Sharia law says, bro.
Working class families.
Yeah, working class Wait a second. Wait, working class families.
For Uber and Lyft drivers.
Protecting Uber and Lyft drivers.
And the legalization of fentanyl testing strips.
Helping people suffering from addiction. Wait a second.
But this summer, you're going to be seeing...
This guy's America first.
Because we deserve nice things in Minneapolis, too.
Wait, why does Charlie Kirk not want America first candidates, all right, helping Americans do better? What about this guy does Charlie Kirk see as a threat to America? I don't know.
Minneapolis that works for everyone. We need a mayor that works as hard as you do. I'm ready to work hard too. 1, build a Minneapolis that working people can afford to call home.
Affording things? Bro, affording things is leftist communism, bro.
2, protect our city from a hostile White House. And 3, diversify our city's public safety.
Oh yeah, they hate the White House because it's white.
By increasing the minimum wage to $20 by 2028 and passing rent stabilization to stop price gouging and...
$20? You know what they say? Conservatives in America, all right? We're not going to give you handouts. We're not going to give any handouts. If you work, we're also not going to pay you, all right? Conservatives hate this stuff.
Incentivizing new construction, we can protect
new construction? Protecting workers? Ew.
Means not letting MPD interact with ICE, whether it's for an immigration raid or not. Our residents deserve a mayor that will stand up to Donald Trump and say, no, not in our community. Did you know that the city's own data showed that 47% of calls to MPD can be diverted to non-police response? Cops aren't social workers. Investments in programs like these ensure that the appropriate response arrives when we call.
Are you saying we can prevent crime before crime happens? Man, I can see why Charlie Kirk does not like this person. It's because he's wearing white shoes. Those are going to get dirty. That's why. Wow, the viewership jumped up when I showed a person of color on screen. I wonder why. You want to be racist? I'm not even looking. Hey, if you're going to be racist, all right, look at this Shrek cosplayer, bro. What does she do? I'm sorry.
Law enforcement work, and that's
but she is a scammer. She's a terrible person.
our officers are doing. They have some of the best training in the country for any law enforcement officers.
Fiona.
We work side by side in most states, not the...
What is she saying, bro? Is this what the white race sent? Is this white supremacy?
The standard law enforcement
Is this
work,
white
and that's
supremacy?
what our officers are doing. They have some of the best training in the country for any law enforcement officers. We work side by side in most states, not the
yeah,
state
she's
of California,
corrupt,
but
very
with
corrupt.
local law
She's a terrible person. No law enforcement background, by the way. No background at all, except being corrupt and terrible.
Continue to do that to be able to build these cases. I think we
Bro,
all
she's shaped like a thumb, like Patrick Starr. Like if Patrick Starr was trans.
all know that
I'm
criminals
sorry, that's offensive. I'm done.
tend to hang out with criminals. And so when we start to build a case, we're going to be going after everyone that's around them because these criminals tend to hang out with like-minded people who also happen to be criminals.
She is justifying, by the way, ICE arresting anyone near someone who they deem to be here illegally, even if they have no proof of it. So at a workplace, you'll see a worker who is working, and ICE is going to be like, hey, you're a threat to America because you're brown, and they're going to arrest everyone there. They're not going to check citizenship because they're going to say, oh, you look like a criminal because you're brown. Okay, you have an accent, you're speaking Spanish, you're a criminal. And everyone around you is also a criminal, so we can detain all of you, all right? They get paid per person in these private prisons. So every single night they detain someone, they get paid like $100-something. So shovel as many people as possible into Alligator Alcatraz, get a huge payday. That's their whole plan, by the way. Terrible people. Oh, man. Oof. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Nice.
We're going to see what we...
Putin.
Are you going to be announcing sanctions on Russia tomorrow? We're going to see what we will see tomorrow, okay? We have the Secretary General. As you know, Europe has announced sanctions. But I am very disappointed with President Putin. You know, I thought he was somebody that meant what he said, and he'll talk so beautifully, and then he'll bomb people at night.
He'll talk so beautifully, and then bomb people at night. It's a love story, baby, just bomb Kiev. I don't know, bro. It's kind of crazy that Trump believes Putin at all. It's not crazy, though, because Trump's a very dumb person, so he'll believe anything. He's so gullible. Oh man, oh man, oh man, oh man, oh man. This is our president. Yes, thank you, God. Thank you for the punishment, God. Look at these kitties. Look what Twitter's showing me. All right, who's calling? I'm gonna take some calls. Drop likes on the stream. Get more callers. Please drop likes. I need likes on the stream, please. Please drop likes. Oh no. Please drop likes. All right, my phone line's open. People call. People call the stream. You can call right now. Phone lines are open. Baby, just say yes. Alright, no one's gonna call in, bro. No one's gonna call in. It's how it is. It's just how it is. It's just how it is, dude. Where's all the videos at for politics?
On this vote, the yeas are 211, the nays are 210. The previous question is ordered. The question is on adoption of the resolution. Those in favor say aye.
Oh, they blocked the Epstein files again. Republicans blocked the Epstein files? That's crazy.
Gentleman from Georgia for yielding.
Nice. What should I watch? No one's calling in. Oh, there you go. Thank you. I summoned you.
From
whoa, 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 whoa. Hello. Howdy. Howdy? Howdy? Okay. Don't talk. Hello.
Hey, calling your show?
Yep, you're live right now.
Oh, thank you. Sorry about that. So, not a Trump supporter, but something I would like for you and some of your audience. So, my name is Frank Mink. Mink is spelled M-E-E-I-N-K. And if you look me up, you'll see that I've testified in front of Congress about white supremacists, known white supremacists in our policing. Google it if you like. There was a guy who's now in the Department of Justice who was part of a neo-Nazi band called Arresting Officers.
Okay.
And now he was a known white supremacist who was a Philly cop for a long time. And then when the Trump administration came in, they hired him into the Department of Justice, knowing who he was. So when people like that are now they're working with ICE in that area. So, people keep saying, oh, there might be white supremacists up in there. I can tell you as a person, I'm a former neo-Nazi myself. I got out in 1994 and have worked adamantly against the movement. These people are really up in there. And I would want people to look up a guy named Brian Houghton, who was one of the main people in this band, a musical band, a neo-Nazi music band.
How do you spell the last name?
Called Houghton. It's like H-A-U-G-H-T-I-O-N.
I-O-N, okay.
But you can, Brian Houghton. You look up the neo-Nazi, it was one of the most famous neo-Nazi bands in America called Arresting Officers. And they were out of Philadelphia. They ran with our crew. And then he like 4 or 5 of our guys all became cops. Like known white supremacists. 3 of them became Philly cops that later on got found out. And that's why they had me testify in front of Congress in 2020.
Well, thank you for calling in. I found, did you write a book? Is this your book about the autobiography? Awesome. I do have a question then, because people ask this a lot about like January 6th and the Proud Boys, because the Proud Boys were the first people in the Capitol. But they usually say like, oh, Enrique Tarrio, and so many members of the Proud Boys, they are Hispanic or Latino. So you know, in skinhead movements or in like neo-Nazi movements and like Proud Boys, the white supremacy there. Yeah, are you familiar with that of how that works? Having like Hispanic, like white supremacists who identify as mostly like white, because that's a big thing people ask is, oh, he's technically not white, but yeah, I mean they could still be white supremacists in those groups.
Absolutely, they can be, and they've actually changed the wording to be Western supremacists.
Oh,
so
that's
Western,
a good. Okay.
Right? They got a loophole. You got to find a loophole, and they want the numbers. So yeah, just like there was the guy in El Paso, Texas, the neo-Nazi there who shot up that place. He was Latino. So yeah, I mean, there's tons of people, and again, it's all people with really got to look low self-esteem, low self-worth, where I don't have nothing to feel proud about myself. So as long as I can put down the others are destroying my pride. You know, I say that a lot when I used to recruit people into being a neo-Nazi. I would hear people say the things you always hear. Oh, I just want to be proud to be white. I can't say I'm proud to be white, but they could say they're proud to be black. And I say, that's exactly what we're talking about. Come to our meetings, come to our rallies. And that's, you know, and then when you come to our meetings. I've said this
before. Yeah, I'm from like a very rural area, and I've said to the left, because I've spoken out against this in college and stuff. When they use language like toxic masculinity or about like white privilege, I've said like the way we have these conversations is fuel to white nationalists' fire. Like they love hearing that shit. They rub their hands together like, oh yeah, come here. They called you an evil white man. We're gonna accept you with open arms. And I've been warning about that for a long time. But I often hear like, well, we can't drop like the social justice and everything. And I'm trying to say, there's pragmatic ways to de-radicalize people and to make sure people don't become radicalized. You shouldn't be canceling kids for like rapping along to a word they don't understand yet, or just making people feel even worse about themselves, because it's gonna the social isolation and things like COVID lead to so much radicalization there. And there's a reason like Charlie Kirk goes after young people, young men. And whenever Charlie Kirk sees a black person or a brown person, the first thing he says is, "Oh, this person is a threat to Western civilization," which is obviously a code name for white nationalism. Yeah.
Right. Absolutely. And that's the thing, too. When we would get people to come join our group, we never talked about really being proud of our heritage or proud of this or that. We'd say, look at what those people are doing. Let's look at what they're doing. We never, you can only talk about Leif Erikson so much. Proud,
Yeah.
So, like, so that's just kind of the whole pull. And yes, the Proud Boys and the 3%ers and all those groups. And a lot of the neo-Nazis that I came up with, who never really changed and just got older, that's where they all went. They all went to those groups, so nobody really changed. And but there's a lot of us that have gotten out. There's hundreds of us now all over the country that are formers that are active in this fight. So
that's another thing too. And I don't want to take up too much of your time. Thank you for calling in. I was gonna say as well, like being from, if you're still like East Coast oriented, like as far as where you are. If you're ever interested in doing like a full interview type thing, whether in person or online, I have some people who may be interested in something like that, including myself, obviously. But if you'd want to do something like that, because it's a big topic, and I try to talk about this topic in a very deep detail, and I know a lot of people who were raised like in the coal region, Appalachia, raised by a lot of former neo-Nazis and skinheads. And many people don't understand how many grandfathers and parents right now were like former skinheads, and now they're giving those same ideologies to their kids. They never went away. They were just so overwhelmed by public opinion for so long they had to hide. But now they're coming back out. So if you're ever interested in like a full interview type thing, I'd definitely be interested in that, and I'll link your book to my chat as well.
Oh, cool. Thank you. And I'm not on the East Coast anymore, but I mean, if there's ever a way you can Zoom in or whatever.
Yeah, definitely. We could do online. Yeah, 100%. Sure. This is probably the number one characteristic, and I know we talk about policies and everything like that, but like Biden got no credit for the policies. He got hurt for, immigration, which you can have issues with like the border, but the main thing is there's no reason a big topic was Haitian immigrants from Ohio eating cats and dogs, and that's a depiction of legal immigrants, by the way, people legally here that everyone got all up in arms about. So the current push against immigration is 100% based off lies. So definitely, I'm interested in detangling a lot of that.
Absolutely, I would love to talk more with you. And great work on your show. I listened to you a couple times. Thank you for your work. Thank you for your activism.
I appreciate it. If you could text, an email or something to this phone number, just through the messaging. I get text on this service. It's a fake number, obviously. But that'd be awesome.
Yeah, I'll text you.
All right, awesome. Thank you for the call.
You got it, brother. Thank you.
All right, have a good one. That's an interesting call. Hey, he has a legit book. For anyone who wants to look it up. Why is my Amazon currency on pounds? It's called The Autobiography of a Recovering Skinhead. It came out September 5th, 2017. Autobiography of a Recovering Skinhead. If anyone wants to see that, I'll probably link in a Discord then. Wow, someone in chat said the dumbest shit I've seen all day. Skinheads follow Nazism, and Nazi ideology is KKK ideology, and KKK was founded by Democrats. No, KKK was Christian nationalism, like Charlie Kirk. Democrats and Republicans are political parties. The ideologies are the Republican Party. So, if you look at the ideologies of the party today, the Christian nationalists, that's what the KKK were. Same as the Minnesota shooter that killed the Democrats in Minnesota. All right, phone lines are open again. Fun night. Please consider donating to Jolah Politics. I'm at 5% on my 5% on my goal. I'm at 5%. I need to update it, but it goes to a new studio for myself, so I have an actual studio to record stuff in, and not my random studio. So really appreciate anyone that can donate to Jolah Politics on Cash App, PayPal, or Venmo. Cash App, PayPal, or Venmo, Jolah Politics, or on Coffee, or become a channel member, or join Discord. Join Discord in my video description, or in my stream description. All right. Thank you. All right, the phone lines are open. I know you love me. I know you remember. Who's calling in? Who's calling? I've been balling. You're like Stalin. A dictator. A dick hater. A brick later. Howdy, this is the politics stream. What's up?
What's going on?
Nothing much. How about you?
So, just to confirm, the whole thing is like anti-Trump, right? Is what you are?
I'm very anti-MAGA.
Okay. Anti-Make America Great Again, right?
Yeah, because they make America worse. So yeah.
Sure. Okay. Well, okay. So, I'm coming from a stance where I actually agree with you. Are you a Democrat?
I'm not super tied to it. I am for pragmatic reasons, but I'm not gonna go out there and be like, I'm a proud Democrat. I'm not gonna say that, but yeah.
Sure. I would say that I'm neither pro-Trump or pro. I mean, really, when it comes down to it, is neither pro-Republican or pro-Democrat.
Okay.
I think that nothing in this country is going to change as long as you only have two parties representing everybody that lives here.
So one big thing to look at is in systems where they have like 6 or 7 parties, they have very similar outcomes in politics. They have the same divides. It's not that much better. I do agree the two-party system is not the most ideal thing in the world, but there is potential to grow like parties within the two parties. So you have like the Tea Party Republicans that kind of got smashed by MAGA. You have like the Justice Democrats or the Social Democrats or the Democratic Socialists, whatever you want to say, like Zohran Mamdani in New York City, within the Democratic Party. And as far as the two parties go, I always compare. So like Democrats, I know are going to raise taxes on the wealthy and provide more funding to services for working people. So that's one of the big reasons I vote for Democrats, because my like friends and family are going to have health care, more so than I would under a Republican.
I just personally think that both parties have become so oversaturated with individuals who aren't necessarily fighting for the policies that people might be led to believe those two parties align with. And it's become a situation where these people more or less are just working for the same higher powers, if that makes sense.
Yeah, but like let's say we believe like everyone's serving elites, or let's say they want to have like political power themselves. So in politics, like, we have incentives to do things, or we have incentives around the house to make people happy, or to get into a certain place, or we have incentives at work to get a certain job position. Let's say you want to be president, and the way you become president is getting votes, or doing whatever it takes to become a powerful person, and then getting elected. For Democrats, Democratic voters care more about fundamental principles like giving people health care, a chance to succeed from the bottom, and even if you have a very bad person, if they are a Democrat, they're going to vote in a better way, pragmatically in politics, to enrich themselves and to become more powerful. So I would say even the worst Democrat for that reason is better than the worst Republican, because their voters, they would lose their job if they did not give people health care. Like, the Republicans cutting Medicaid never would have happened from a Democrat. For that exact reason, Democratic voters care a lot about making sure, working class people have health care. But Republican voters only care about hating immigrants, and they get really tied up in social issues like hating trans people and hating a bunch of, like, being angry all the time. I'm not sure if that made sense.
I understand what you're saying. Yeah, no,
Okay.
It definitely does. I guess what I'm really trying to get to, and I apologize if I'm not explaining this too well, is at least to me, it seems like what has happened now, and maybe it's been happening for the past, however many years, is that both parties have presented themselves in a way where, to the general public, I guess you could say, they look different enough, and they might apply to certain beliefs. Whereas, like you mentioned, the Democrat Party has things like, their advocacy for healthcare for other people and things like that, that are appealing to the people that identify with the Democratic Party. Whereas, the Republican Party is focusing on things such as immigration, such as LGBTQ, the things that you mentioned, whereas people that identify with the Republican Party, they're more focused on those kind of things. But I feel like both of these parties are working together. They have individuals that are working together. They're on the same team. And it's essentially this situation where they're just flip-flopping, where they're saying, okay, currently what is essentially the trend amongst the general public? What is the trend right now in society? Is the majority more towards, worried about trans people, worried about the LGBTQ, or are people more worried about healthcare? Are they more worried about the economy? And that's kind of how it comes down to deciding whether or not you're going to go Democrat that year or Republican. I think that both of these parties they've been infiltrated essentially, and they're not working for the people. They're working for these companies that are devoted to appealing to a certain population.
My big thing is voters are the issue in this sense, because voters could make the system change easily, but voters don't really do it. You could say voters are too tired. They don't really understand what's going on. Maybe they don't come out to vote all the time because they feel, discouraged. They don't believe in the process. They don't like the people that are candidates. Maybe the system is like a closed primary, so you need to be a Republican or a Democrat to actually vote in it. So you can't vote as independent in certain states to elect the two major parties' candidates. But the American people keep on voting the same people in over and over and over and over and over again. There's a reason Mitch McConnell's still in there and Nancy Pelosi's still in there, but they're not really that popular. I think we need to hold people to a higher standard and politicians to a higher standard. And like, there are certain things they agree on. So war, for example, like, they're going to be pretty aligned when it comes to Israel, or when it comes to supporting Ukraine, and a good amount of foreign policy. But for so many, and Democrats, I'd probably say, are still better on those issues by a decent margin, even if they're bad on some of them. But now, if you look at Democrats versus Republicans, I would still be motivated to vote for Democrats, even if I believed that Democrats are terrible people and the politicians are self-serving and they work for the same people and blah blah blah. Democrats versus Republicans means 40 million more people have health care. Democrats versus Republicans means there's less chemicals in the water. It means there's going to be higher, more union protections. Like, one thing that Democrats did that were anti-corporate, they actually put into a rule that was going to go into effect where, like, do you have a subscription for any website, or have you had one where you like want to cancel it, but it keeps on saying, like, are you sure you want to cancel it over and over and over again?
Not personally, no.
But yeah, but you know what I mean? Like, a general issue is like, oh, don't leave, sign back up for a program. So one thing they did, or like Planet Fitness or a gym membership, where you have to go in person and do all these loopholes, or jump through different loops to actually cancel it. There was going to be a one-click cancel rule for all subscriptions. And Democrats did that. And corporations were mad because they make money off people like not canceling their subscriptions. They hide fees. And Democrats, Biden's administration was going to block junk fees for things like airports and subscription services. And they were going to make sure that you pressed one button to click it when you want to cancel a subscription. That was going to happen instantly. Republicans got paid off by these same companies and canceled these regulations. So even if you think they're both like self-serving to an extent, there's a very clear choice for corporations and corrupt people. And that is Republicans. And you can see right now, Republicans are the ones blocking the Epstein files. They were voting on it in Congress, and Republicans are blocking it. Democrats are voting for it. So there is going to be a difference here still.
So I guess my next point is that you did mention how Democrats have this policy in place, right, where they were going to get rid of what you mentioned with the companies, encouraging you to not end your subscription to their services and whatever. Mm-hmm. And the Republicans overrode that and kind of got rid of it, right? So I guess my kind of, I don't know what you would call it, hypothesis maybe, is maybe the Democrats didn't actually want that to be the case, but they simply, said like, this is the policy that we're proposing to get on the better side of the majority that was pro-Democrat. You get what I mean by that?
Yeah, but like in practice, so like for example, we got a new organization or government agency after the 2008 financial crisis. If you look up the Dodd-Frank Wall Street reforms, it made something called the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau and a few other rules that banks had to follow. Republicans all voted against it, and Democrats voted mostly for it. And that happened under Barack Obama, and that agency returned $20 billion from the corporations back to the people. So in that area, it became really popular. Republicans got into power, and they wanted to kill it, but they could not kill it. So there's examples of Democrats and Obamacare. Like Obamacare was going to be ruined under Trump and killed under Trump, but Republicans, John McCain said we're not going to ruin it. There's very precise things here, very distinct things that Democrats do that people really like, and Republicans want to remove it, but they cannot. They get really mad because they want to kill government in general. And Democrats believe in government. Republicans are radical, anti-government authoritarians. So like, I can see that, it's sometimes the answer is, in front of us a little bit. Like we can see the incentives pretty openly. It's not like a secret plan to have a ratchet effect, as they call it. I know the circles that call it the ratchet effect. It goes back and forth, and they pretend to do things. I'm sure there is some of that to an extent. But under every single Democrat or Republican in the past 40 years, all the Democrats have gained us jobs by a huge margin over Republicans. Democrats have lowered the national debt. Republicans have made it super high. Republicans have passed tax cuts for the wealthy. Democrats give healthcare to the poor over and over and over and over and over again. So there might be some of what you're talking about. I'm not saying it doesn't exist at all. But in all of our systems, local governments, state governments, county governments, we talk about federal, we talk about different courts, and all these different levels of government. It's a very complex system. It's hard to game the entire thing. So all these individuals are still going to influence the system in a very, different way. And I would say in most scenarios, the Democrats going to do a lot better for the American people, at least right now, because the Republican Party is a cult right now. And I think you could even see in that whole system, Trump is doing things Democrats really don't like when it comes to removing corporate regulations and everything, and giving corporations the keys to our society to surveil us. And Democrats were investigating these companies. Trump's not. And they were going to keep on investigating these companies. And corporations largely wanted Trump to win as a result. So.
Okay. To disrespect, or sorry, let me rephrase that. To respectfully disagree with what you said, I think that the Democratic Party and what they're against, or what the Republican Party is for, I think what has happened is that, again, however many number of years they've been doing it, because obviously, I'm pretty young, so I've been around, 90s, 80s, whatever it was. I feel like it's come to a point where over time they've crafted this political climate where you have two sides that just absolutely hate each other. It seems like the same thing every single 4 years, every single election. Even when the president is elected, it's still these two sides going at one another.
Before Trump, it wasn't like that, by the way. Before Trump, it was not like that. It was a lot more bipartisan before Trump. So, I mean, if you're young, I'm pretty young. I'm only 25. I'm just saying what you're saying right now. I have a very detailed reason why I believe what I believe, and you can't really disagree yet. You could say you think I'm wrong, but you can't really disagree because you just have a very broad way to look at it, and it's very conspiracy driven. I would just say there is a way we can change the government. There is a clear way we can influence it. And if you watch my channel at all in the future. Like I'm going to talk about that a good amount. But when Biden is president, you have labor unions, you have teachers unions, you have all these different unions, you have regulators, you have academics, you have scientists, you have all these different interests at the table. That's why Biden passes more pro-labor policies and Trump kills them, because the only people at Trump's table are corrupt, rich oligarchs and crypto gods. So there's a reason why there's very clear influences that give a politician power. And it just so happens that Democrats care more about the people giving them power, even if they are very corporate driven. I agree. There's too much corporatism in the Democratic Party. It's still very true. They have a lot more. They have voters that are better. Democratic voters are better and keep their politicians more honest, and that's why Democrats do better things for the American people. I mean, you could say you disagree, but I think it's just because you are young and you've only seen Trump's politics. The world of Trump is terrible. But before Trump, I mean, we had bipartisan legislation. Probably even before Obama. But having a black president really radicalized the racist right in America, and now they really hate everything. And they had to elect Trump and be really angry at immigrants and stuff now. But yeah, like Reagan, Bush, Clinton, look up Bill Clinton's voting record and look up the Republicans and Democrats back then. There were real debates and bipartisanship. And yeah, I mean, it's bad that we don't have that right now, but we need to get back to that. And the only way we're going to get back to it is if we make sure people like Trump never win again. So
I appreciate what you said too. You said that you don't disagree, but I think that you're wrong, and I think that's definitely a better phrasing of what I said. But I think that what you're saying, in that the Democratic Party has better voters, and that who they're voting into office are better for the well-being of the country and for the government. I think that's wrong, and I think that's wrong because I think what you're saying, in that thinking that the people that are voting for the Democrats are better, is what they're having us believe. You know what I mean? Is that it's not. It's better depending on the perspective you're looking at it. You have
no. Okay. Again, right? It's better when 30 or 40 million more people have healthcare, right? When 40 million more people have healthcare because we tax the rich and pay for that, it's better than when they don't have healthcare. That's a big difference. It's at 40 million people.
100% it is, yeah.
It's a big difference. So Democrats, in that sense, I want to elect them to do more healthcare, not Republicans who want to kill healthcare.
Okay, so then that brings me back to
wealthy.
the point where it's like the main problem I think we have, the overarching problem, right, is that you have two parties, and you got one party which you, in your own words, are saying this one's better, okay, and then you got one that's saying this one isn't good for the government, this one isn't good for the country. So we should not have a system where every 4 years there is an option, and to be honest, it seems like it's not even really our option. It seems like these parties are being paid off by these corporations, and that they're the ones that are putting these parties in power. You're either having one or the other, and it's flip-flopping. So why are we having one party that's seemingly better for the government, better for the well-being of the country and its citizens, and there's now an option for that party to be taken out of power?
Voters, because democracy is funny. I mean, democracy is not perfect, but democracy is better than authoritarianism. And if you don't engage in democracy, then we're going to fall to authoritarianism. For most of human history, for 99% of our existence, we have had authoritarian dictatorships and kings. Democracy is very young in the relative aspect of the past 250 years of human development and civilization. So right now, when people lose confidence and they don't believe politicians have any different effect, we need to fix that for sure. Make it a little bit, make politics seem brighter and better for people. But we're backsliding into authoritarianism right now because people don't get up and vote. And the truth is, you can say they're manipulated by the media or whatever, but voters are selecting these candidates. All the shitty candidates on TV, voters are picking them, and we need to understand why and understand how we get better candidates out there and we convince people to vote for better things. Because right now, people are voting against their own interests or not voting at all. And the biggest question to ask for someone like you would be, is there anything ever that could convince you to vote for someone?
I think to go off of what you just said is that the media is having us, again, pick sides. You got two different sides, and that's all we get. You got an entire country, and we only get two sides to pick from. The people that are not voting, I think, are people like me who believe that their vote doesn't matter, because no matter who you vote, whatever side that these big corporations that are actually running the show want in power, that's who's going to be in power. It doesn't matter.
It's not true though. The vote does matter for selecting the candidate. And when you say two sides, you can have candidates for the official parties, but in the primaries, like there's Democrats in this country who are like Republicans, and there's also Democrats who are like Democratic Socialists in the same party. So when we talk about primaries, like for Democrat president in 2020, there were like 15 different candidates. They all had different, like very different ideologies. So those are 15 different sides. And you could have voted in that primary for one of those 15 different candidates who represented a bunch of different things. And that's still it's still going to be a lot more than just like two options. In the Republican primary, there were like 10 or 15 options in 2016. So like I'm just saying, there's a way to engage in this stuff that you can be pessimistic for sure. But I'm just saying, if you don't engage and pick who the best candidate is, who has the best track record, who runs in the best policies, and there are genuinely, especially at the local level, there are great people running for office, for county commissioner, for school board, for city council, for borough council. Like there's so many good people running for politics at the local level and state level and national level as well, federal level. It's going to be harder to talk to that person, but I guarantee you there are great people in politics who need your help. And if you don't give them help, if you think there are corporate influences right now in politics, then you are doing a disservice to America and to yourself and to the people who are fighting the good fight inside government and inside these organizations and in elected office. They are begging for your support. So I'm not asking you to vote for every single, office all the time. If you don't like a presidential candidate, vote third party. I really don't care. Like at this point, like all I'm asking is that you start at the local level if you can, see how politics interacts there. Because I guarantee you're going to see pretty quick that these decisions do matter. These are real people making these decisions. And even if you get, a politician who gets too famous and rich and they lose who they really are, you can always go back to like, oh, that school board member or that city council person, like, or that borough council person or the mayor or the county commissioner. That was a real person you can talk to see how this stuff really works. And they are not like, you can probably know someone that you go to high school with eventually who's going to be running for office, and you knew who that person was. So I'm just saying, keep your mind open as much as you possibly can.
Yeah, I definitely hear what you're saying.
You don't gotta decide today to vote, but I'm just saying. And you can call in again sometime. We can keep talking about this, but it's a good conversation to have because many people don't believe in voting. But I'll tell you what, too. Here's another angle to it. These corporations are paying for propaganda during these elections to convince you not to vote. They are paying billions of dollars, mostly to run negative advertising about the other candidate. There's barely ever positive advertising about candidates because they just want to discourage people like you from voting. So if these corporations are paying billions of dollars to convince you not to vote, how can we say it does not matter? That's one of the ways I always looked at it when I thought democracy did not matter at all. And in New York City right now, they don't like this Zohran Mamdani guy that won, this Mamdani. And they're going to spend probably over $100 million trying to beat him. And hopefully he can beat all that big money to show that people have a voice,
I will reply to that by saying I don't disagree with democracy. In fact, I believe that it is the best form of government because the whole idea of democracy is that the people are getting a say, that the people are running their government for the country that they live in. I think that's the ultimately the best system you can have. I don't think anybody, I don't think a country should be run by a king.
No, but I'm saying, but you said the corporations pick whoever they want to win. I'm saying, if that's true, why do they spend so much money running propaganda to tell us not to vote?
Well, because they want to keep us divided is what I think.
Yeah, but aren't you kind of falling into their trap if you don't go vote then? If you don't engage in politics at all? Isn't that what they want? They want you to not be engaged. And you're kind of giving them what they want, the corporations.
Well, I could personally be giving them what they want, but at the same time, you're talking about me versus the majority, which is the majority is identifying with either side. You're talking about majority is either Democrat or Republican, and those are the two that are clashing. They're not worried about me. They're worried about the people that are...
Well, yeah, they're not worried about you because you're not doing anything. They would be worried about you if you're voting for candidates who are actually real people. So, I mean, if you don't ever come out to vote for the better candidate, then they have no incentive to be better. Like, why would a politician care about being better for the people if you don't go and vote for them? If you don't lend your voice to them getting elected, they're never going to get better. They're never going to do anything to show you politics is going to work if you just give up on it completely. I'm just saying, if the system is so rigged, they would not be spending so much money being afraid of us. They're afraid that we're all going to stand up someday and start voting pragmatically and pick the best candidate in every single election, and their game's going to be up. But until we start doing that, if we keep on sitting and moping on the sidelines, just picking the better candidate. I would just say get out there and just do it. Like, I'm sick of hearing excuses from people. I really am. And maybe it doesn't work. Maybe it's futile. Maybe the whole world's gonna burn in a ball of ember or whatever. But I think we should still give our best effort to make the best decisions we can. You know, even if that's the case, we should probably be voting for the candidates who are gonna give 40 million more people healthcare. You know. And I'll give you the final word then.
Yeah, I just really think the system we have right now isn't good enough for us to be given the decisions that we need to be making. I think that
it's the best we have, man. I'm sorry, it's the best we have. It's the best we've ever had.
I think it could be better though. I think it could be improved upon.
Yeah, then
That's
vote.
the
If you don't vote, it's not gonna get better. If you keep on bitching and complaining without actually doing shit, then it's not gonna get better. I need people like you to be involved. And I'll give you pep talks if you need to.
But you're voting for a side that isn't changing though. Is the problem? That's what
It is changing. The parties have changed very much, actually. The Bernie Sanders campaign made Hillary Clinton adopt a $15 minimum wage and a bunch of other policies that were really good for working class people. So that's proof alone. The fact that Bernie Sanders could have got so much popularity in that primary after the establishment hated him, and his popularity forced Hillary Clinton to change her entire platform, that is proof people have power, and we need to keep on doing that to make politics better. And as we keep on doing that and pressuring politicians, if we all go out and vote, it will be better, and I promise it will. But if we keep on doing like what you're doing right now, it's not going to get better. We can't expect it to. But I'll give you pep talks, all right? Call in a few months before an election. I'll give you a big smack in the... Okay. All right, thank you for the call.
All right.
Have a good one. I appreciate it. I'm going to beat up these kids, bro. These kids are freaking... They got to get off freaking Roblox and go outside. Holy shit. No, I appreciate the call. I don't know. It's just... Here's a really cool thing. So, the Trump admin has ordered 500 tons of emergency food aid, enough to feed 1.5 million malnourished children for a week, to be incinerated rather than to be distributed. 500. What's going on? Like 500 tons of emergency food aid. They would rather expire than to give it to kids. Because they ideologically hate government. They ideologically hate government so much. The both parties thing is not real. They're not the same in any way. Except another 25 billion to Israel. Nah, he's comically evil. Yeah, that's kind of crazy, bro. You gotta try to do that. You gotta try to be that much of a weenie. I need people to join Discord. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We have 12 people in Discord chatting right now. All right, and we need more people chatting in Discord. Everyone join Discord. Discord. The best president, Donald Trump, the USA ever had. Are you 2 years old? Are you a little dumbass? Holy shit. True poop guy. Brandon, holy shit, what are you doing? What are you saying in chat, Brandon? Holy shit. Donald Trump appears on Epstein's log 7 times. I don't know about that. Does he? Who knows? Who knows? Did you guys see the video of Trump insulting AOC, calling her stupid? Like, did you see the video of Trump calling AOC stupid? Did you see that video by chance? Did you see the... Like, it's kind of crazy, bro. It's kind of crazy. It's kind of crazy. Kind of crazy, dude.
I think she's very...
So Trump here calls AOC very low IQ, and then he brags about his dementia screening.
You know, AOC, look, I think she's very nice.
And by the way, Trump saying AOC is very nice. Since when does Donald Trump like AOC?
But she's very low IQ.
Oh, okay.
And we really don't need low IQ. Between her and Crockett, we're going to give them both an IQ test to see who comes out best. Now, I took my test. I took a real test at Walter Reed Medical Center.
If a doctor gives you an IQ test, brother, it is not an IQ test. You are being screened to make sure you are not demented, to make sure you don't have Alzheimer's. Okay, Trump, you don't get an IQ test.
And I aced it. I got it.
He aced it. You don't ace an IQ test.
Every one of all those questions right.
You don't get every question right on an IQ test. That's not how it works. Now imagine Trump calling AOC and Jasmine Crockett stupid, and then talking like an old man who is literally demented about his dementia screening at the hospital. The doctor gave me a test and I got every answer right. I have a really big brain. It's like, Grandpa, no, Grandpa, you don't remember things anymore. And that's okay. I mean, it runs in my family. It does run in my family. But remember, Donald Trump cut Alzheimer's research in America. Trump cut that in half. He cut cancer research in half. So it's okay to make fun of him.
Now it's time for them to take a test. Anyway, have a good time.
Anyway, have a good time.
I like Dan Bongino. Yeah.
I like Dan Bongino, one of the people in the cover-up. The amazing cover-up happening right now. Yeah, it's really crazy. I don't even know, bro. I don't even know. He's been saying that thing about the IQ test at Walter Reed Medical forever, for a long time now. And I want someone to tell him, like, hey, Trump, what was on the IQ test? He's like, I saw a picture of an umbrella, and I said, that's an umbrella. And I said, that's a giraffe. And I got all the shapes right when I put the peg in. By the peg, I mean like the square peg and a round hole, like the you know what I mean, the block game. Like, he's not getting paid. He's not getting paid. He's doing the game with the shapes, and he got it all right. So now he has whatever. That'll be good for TikTok, and YouTube Shorts. Trump put on his bronzer. He puts on his bronzer with a plaster and travel. That's kind of crazy. Why is no one joining Discord, bro? Join Discord. You know, someone called me 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17. He called me 22 times. Wait, 28 times in 2 minutes. I don't know if I can answer that, bro. I don't know if I can answer that, dude. I'm sorry.
Pick up. I know you got somebody. I know you're in the line right now talking to somebody.
What a giant cuckold. Like, Obama openly floated the idea of running for a third term. And he also spoke about what a giant cuckold. Like, Obama openly floated the idea of running for a third term. And he also spoke about the practice of having someone run his agenda as a front man for him. These are all things
Donald Trump's, okay.
that you can find if you just, these are all things.
Donald Trump, okay, is
that
cringe.
You can find if you do a simple Google search. But you're a giant cuckold.
Yeah,
so you're just going to ignore this.
Yeah, I am. I'm going to ignore
because
it.
You can't have an intelligent debate
I'm a giant
because
cuck. I'm a liberal cuck.
Are not on your side.
Mm-hmm.
You have some great day.
Yeah, thank you, brother.
Makes me sad there are like just soft boys like you that think they have some sort of insight. I feel really sorry for any woman that lets herself get close to you.
Damn, he got me. Shit.
Okay, this is Michelle calling back. You told me to go look it up. I just looked it up. Trump never said
okay, Michelle.
that Epstein was his best friend. Epstein said that he was Trump's best friend.
What difference does that make? Trump talked about going out on the club and looking for girls who are younger with Jeffrey Epstein. And they were best friends for 10 years. What does it matter if Trump said the words, "we are best friends"? They're not going to sing the SpongeBob best friend songs. F is your friends who do stuff together here on the Epstein Island. Like, he's not going to sing that. So, like, he's not going to sing that song. So, like, what difference does that make, bro?
Okay, that's what was said. Trump never called him his best friend or his close friend.
He called him his close friend. There's pictures of them together. There's hundreds of pictures of them together. Trump was on his plane like 20 times. Trump flew Jeffrey Epstein's plane after Jeffrey Epstein died. Trump rode in his plane. Trump owns his plane currently, I'm pretty sure. Like, what do people do with their time? How does she say that out loud and not realize how dumb it is? Holy crap. He never said he's his best friend. Epstein said they're... What happened with Ben? What did Ben do? You know what, Maxie? The picture you saw of Trump and Epstein in that context is definitely fake and made by AI, but I'm not going to disprove you. All right, you can have it. All right, we don't care about facts around here. Okay, I might just take a break. My viewership in the last conversation went from... I might take a break, guys. It's kind of upsetting. I'm not going to lie. My viewership in that conversation with the person who doesn't know if they want to vote or not went from 500 viewers to 80 viewers. So, like, it did not do very good for me. Hey, they all left. Thank you so much, Sri. Sri gave me $5 on Venmo. Thank you so much, Sri, for $5 on Venmo. Thank you, Sri. Jolah Politics and Cash App, PayPal, or Venmo. Maybe I'll go deliver DoorDash for a second. Yeah, I'm gonna take a little break. Take a break. Don't answer my call. Okay, Ben, I'll do that. All right, guys. I don't know if I'm gonna get back on. I don't know if I'm gonna get back on or not. It's gonna be up in the air. Hey Ben, the only way you could demand a phone call on my stream is to send me $10 with your phone number for future reference. Other than that, it's up to luck. So go back to what brought you the viewers. No, see, the issue is that if you I would need to start a new stream because the way the shorts work, you get a big burst in the first hour, and then if you lose them, it never goes back up. It never goes back up. You keep repeating the same shit every day. Well, like Trump repeats the same shit. He's like, who cares about Jeffrey Epstein anyway? He's boring. Let's focus on Rosie O'Donnell. So funny, man. Call back later. Call later. Go on the Discord. I take Discords more often. Okay, go join Discord. Cracking up right now. Thank you. Thank you guys for watching, though. I appreciate it. I don't want to leave, but I'm actually pretty sleepy tonight. I'm gonna be... It's not a good impression at all. This impression sucks. Hey, Jeffrey, you got any kids for me to... I'm gay. Oh, yeah, it's messed up. Let me think for a second. I'm gonna be traveling from, like, next week, from Tuesday to Sunday, so I can't stream any of those days. I was not gonna stream today. I was not going to, but I decided to because I'm going to be gone for so long. I'm doing another show with Pisco on Thursday night, Thursday afternoon, Thursday. So we're going to see how that goes. Hopefully get a phone number going for that. More zest. More zest. I can't do it. More zest. Donald Trump, Jeffrey Epstein. Hi, I'm Bill. Donald Trump never got with Jeffrey Epstein. I just sound like a Trump voter now. Traveling all over the place. Vroom vroom. Narcissistic sociopath? Well, that's obvious. You don't need much for that. Alright, guys. I'll see you tomorrow, maybe. Or tonight. Probably tomorrow. Thank you, guys. I appreciate you. Have a good night. Thank you again. Thank you, Suri. I know I usually go for longer. I apologize. Your $5 did not go as far today. Pisco. Yeah, thank you again, Suri. Thank you. King Suri. Thursday with Pisco, hopefully. I hope the phone thing works because it's getting kind of rough out here. I have to test out Google Voice. I feel like I can add 2 people to a call. I'm not really sure, though. If I answer someone... If I call someone on this and then I say... I want to add someone else to a call. I wonder if I could do a 3-way phone call on here, if that would work. Maybe not. Alright. Thank you.